Welcome back to Adventure Waits podcast. If you're new here, I'm your host Lily, and with me today I have my co-host Lexi and our two guests Maggie and Savannah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. In today's episode, we will be talking about everything you need to know about packing and planning for your trips. You will hear our favorite packing hacks and many other helpful tips.
Before we start, we would like to take a moment to poll our audience.
Today, our poll for the audience will be, are you a last-minute packer or an early packer? You can vote on our Instagram at adventureawaits.pod, and you'll find out the results at the end of this episode.
Need to do some good packing tips for your next trip? If this sounds like you, tune into our new episode, Prep and Planning, where we will be talking about what to prepare and pack for your trip. Now, let's ask our guests some questions and see their tips and tricks on packing. My first question is, how do you organize yourself to make sure you don't forget anything when packing?
I always try to make a list before I start packing and add everything I might need, like swimsuits, clothes, sunscreen, and other stuff like chargers that I often forget.
I just try to remember the stuff I need to pack. I don't really make a list.
When I pack, I always lay everything out before I put it in my suitcase or bag so I can see everything to make sure I don't forget something. But once I'm done that, I put everything in packing cubes to organize my outfits.
Those are some smart ideas. Personally, I like to check the weather for the length of my vacation and then roll out my outfits for each day.
Our next question is, are you guys overpackers, underpackers, or always pack perfectly? I always overpack no matter where I'm going.
I have always been an overpacker. I bring so many outfits on every trip just to make sure I have enough, but I always end up with way too much stuff.
I will pack just in case I forget anything important.
I also always overpack. Anyways, next I'd like to talk about the travel aspect. When flying, do you guys dress comfy or classy?
Definitely comfy. I wear sweatpants and a sweatshirt every time I fly.
100% comfy. I also recommend a neck pillow.
Comfy, I would prefer being comfy in any place.
I agree with comfy. I honestly couldn't care less what I look like on a flight. However, I've heard dressing up for flights used to be way more common. Moving on, my next question is, in the past, how have your families decided where to go on vacation?
My parents just tell me we're going somewhere. We don't really decide together, but I'm grateful for the vacation we go on together.
It depends. Sometimes my parents surprise us, and sometimes we decide as a family.
Same.
This is interesting. We usually go to the Jersey Shore every summer. My mom plans and decides which beach. Otherwise, we usually decide as a family. My final question for today's episode is, do you guys normally shop and buy new things before your trips?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. As a family, we usually all get the basics like sunscreen and those kinds of essentials. But sometimes we also go shopping and get new outfits for the vacation.
I really go and buy some new things, but I also bring things I already have.
I love shopping and getting cute outfits for trips, but don't always. Alright, I think that wraps up the interview portion of today's episode. But before we end, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor, SandCloud.
Have you ever got your towel dirty from the sand? Well, Sand Cloud towels will be a better choice for you. It will dry off faster than your normal towels, and the sand doesn't stick on to them. Buy now on Amazon or at sandcloud.com for $50.
Thank you to our sponsor, SandCloud Towels. I'm going to need to get myself one of those.
I agree. Anyways, that's all for today's episode.
Before we finish up, let's see the results of our poll.
The results were 72% pack last minute and 28% pack early.
I'm definitely a last minute packer.
Same. And now I know all these packing tips that we talked about in today's episode to help.
Thank you to our guests for joining us.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in.
See you next time on Adventure Waits.